The global economy is experiencing a synchronized slowdown, mainly because of rising trade and geopolitical tensions, according to the IMF's recent World Economic Outlook. The IMF Deputy Director for Asia and Pacific, Jonathan Austria, said in a press briefing in Bangkok that though the world economy is sluggish, the growth in this region contributes more than 70% to the global growth, while Asia is projected to grow 5% this year. However, Thailand growth is expected to moderate to 2.9% this year, which is lowest among ASEAN countries. In an interview with the Thai PBS World, I asked the IMF Deputy Director the way to mitigate the slowdown for Thailand and the global economy.
Restoring the rules-based multilateral system and fundamentally addressing the source of the trade tensions in many areas, including IP protection, technology transfer, SOE subsidies, and so forth, that confronting these issues is in the interests of both the key players of the US and China and more broadly of the world, that we need to get back to a situation where there is more certainty about the rules of the game, so that what Keynes referred to as animal spirits, which is an important driver of investment and growth, firms can really feel that if they're going to put money in a country for a project, the rules that will govern whether that project is going to succeed or not, those rules are clear. Only in those conditions will firms actually have the spirit to invest and get the economies back on a stronger footing.
What should be the role that IMF can take in order to influence the decision on the US and China? Both countries are also members of the IMF. Can IMF exert more power in terms of telling them what they should do?
The role of the IMF is to explain the consequences of the path that we are on. When we showed, for example, in our latest multilateral exercises and the World Economic Outlook, that the trade war in all its dimensions, not just the tariffs, but the effects on financial markets, on confidence, on productivity, that this war was contributing to something like a 0.7, 0.8 reduction in global GDP. That's a magnitude that's, to put it in perspective, broadly the same size as the entire economy of Switzerland. So it's a big chunk of the global economy. It's costly for the parties themselves, and it's costly for the world. So China loses a lot from this trade war, but the United States also loses. And so, we want to have a sort of a dispassionate exercise that can incentivize parties to see what the costs are and hopefully come to agreement to overcome their differences.
Regarding Thailand, the second largest economy in ASEAN, and we are export-led country, the forecasted predicted growth in Thailand is also quite low, especially when you compare with other countries of ASEAN, 2.9%. What's the effect that Thailand is having right now?
Thailand is integrated in global value chains, in global technology chains, in electronics and manufacturing. It's an outward-oriented economy. So naturally, it has been affected by these global developments, and we have accordingly revised down our global outlook for Thailand this year and next. But there are also other issues that are more domestic in nature that are also contributing to the slowdown in Thailand.
So you mean domestic saving in Thailand is quite high, and from economic perspective, people should spend more and the government should spend more. But if people do not have confidence in the economy and they would rather save than spending, what should economists tell them?
The economy is, as you said at the beginning, is relatively weak in Thailand. Public policy in those situations has a role to give confidence by providing demand stimulus in a way that's going to strengthen economic growth and jobs and so forth. And so that process of public policy being counter-cyclical, supporting the economy in weak times, is something that should give people more confidence.
Do you suggest structural reform in Thailand economically? And what's the take that policymaker or the government should take in order to cope with Industrial Revolution 4.0?
Now, to continue to reap the benefits from new technologies, all countries, Thailand included, will have to up their game in terms of making sure that their workforces are prepared. That involves education and training and lifelong learning. It also means continuing to integrate with other countries in the region and the world, because more integration makes firms more competitive. Competitive pressures from being open to foreign technologies and foreign trade and in both goods and services actually increases economic efficiency and allows firms to be in a better position to reap the benefits from new technologies. So there are many things that governments working with the private sector can do, allow the economy to fully reap the benefits from new technologies and the Industrial Revolution 4.0.